Going on, good brother?
Good brother. Life is good. Life is good.
Say, absolutely. Okay,
Absolutely.
that'll work.
Grab your, grab your book down off my bookshelf.
I
So,
appreciate that.
so you know when I share with the audience, they'll be able to see, okay, what's the book? Where do we buy it at, and where do we get it from?
Where you showing it at? Where's the audience gonna be at?
So on YouTube primarily, and in my newsletter as well.
What's the YouTube?
The YouTube is Cameron Demetrius Wilson.
Kamran.
Yeah,
Spell Demetrius.
Demera. Excuse me, Demetrius. Funny. Yep, Cameron Demetrius Wilson.
Singer. What am I looking at?
Am I on stage?
Yeah, what y'all doing? You got a wig on or something? Is that what that is?
Uh, no.
It say Cameron Wilson. Uh,
What's the video?
Cameron Wilson official. What's some Hispanic brothers on here? This
Oh
ain't.
no, that's not me. My channel is Cameron Demetrius Wilson.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, I put a lot of just motivational, inspirational quotes. I read some books on there. This is actually my fourth interview. So I have the
Okay.
other three. I haven't released them yet.
Okay. Excellent.
So the other guys are two guys are here in Atlanta. One guy is in Arizona. And they do like tax liens. The guy has a new construction company and he does renovations, remodeling. The other guy, he does syndications. He actually owns like 374 units. And your interview number four.
Okay.
T Thomas TJ Loftin. Yes, I appreciate that shirt you're wearing. That's it's Frederick Douglass, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. Hey, that's real right there.
Real knowledge. Real knowledge.
What you mean by real knowledge?
A lot of people always relate knowledge to 4 years of college. Knowledge in college. You feel me? So
Okay.
it's like, so no offense to the college grad, but people need to know it's like, it can be life lessons, you know what I mean? People who got experiences in different things. If you didn't experience this for 10 years and you've been building houses, ain't never went to college, you got some real knowledge, you know what I mean? Because you can help everybody with that knowledge, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and where you at right now? It looks beautiful. So you just living out
Oh,
there.
I'm actually, that's funny you say that. I'm in the most beautiful city in America that they registered it as. I'm in Ranchos Palos Verdes, California.
Oh wow, that's
Oh yeah.
awesome.
So that's the ocean behind me. I'm high up on top of a mountain in California.
Ranchos Palos Verdes. Hey man,
Yeah.
see, look, you look like you have a geographic freedom.
Yeah.
That's what I put it. Like you just can be wherever you want to be, and you can make
Right.
money still, and yeah, you're geographically free.
Well, this is where I live at actually. So I do have that right, but you know, this is actually my house. You know what I mean? I'm not just this ain't no social media background. You know how people be having
Yeah,
like,
you can
oh
actually
man. This the real one right here.
You can reach out and touch it.
Yeah. Or I can get pooped on by a bird. You know what I mean? See, nah, it's a
Yeah.
clown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
just to be, why I made this podcast, I really put this together so my audience, they can see like how other people have gotten into real estate, what their journey was like, um, what they can learn from them, why real estate, why do people want to get into real estate, and then also they can get that real knowledge, right? They can skip the lessons that cost thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars and get themselves ahead of that learning curve, and also to just be able to share what other people like you yourself are doing in the industry, and so they can either tap in with your campaign and your business, or at least walk away with some knowledge, some inspiration, or just some new advice or ideas on how to run their business better, make more profits, buy more property. Um, so I just want to ask you a few questions. If you do have an audience that you email to, or you send them different programs or coaching courses or whatnot, I would like to market to them as well if we can come up with some sort of equitable exchange. But otherwise, anything that you want to promote to my audience as far as like a book, course, coaching, or anything you want to promote, you feel free to do so. And I'll make sure to either send them out an email and put like an email on my email list when I send it out, or you could just shout it out here in the podcast, like your different social medias, or where you can be found at.
Okay. That sounds
Cool.
good.
So let's get right into it. I know time is ticking. Um, so just tell the people who you are and why'd you got in real estate.
Excuse me. My name is TJ Loftin, and I got in real estate because I'm a business owner. I'm a real. I was a brick and mortar at the time, and I was in a fast scaling business, meaning my business was growing rapidly, and I was forever in need of a new building, new buildings, new places to park my tow trucks, new places. I needed places to put my rim shop at. I just needed a lot of real estate, for the quick emerging industry that I was dealing with in earlier '92. So I had a situation where, we were acquiring a lot of real estate, and it was all cheap because, primarily in black neighborhoods, the real estate be boarded up. You know what I mean? Because if you're not using it, if white folks aren't in your neighborhood with businesses, then our businesses are usually boarded up. So when we started buying real estate, then all of a sudden other people saw what we were doing, and in an effort to stop us, other people started buying it too, so that they can raise the prices up. So one person in particular was Elon Musk that came in. He had just sold PayPal, I heard, and now he decided to build rocket ships and made my area his home base. So now all of a sudden I'm in competition with a multi-billionaire. You know, and he started pushing the real estate prices up so that we couldn't get it. And of course, we were making money, so we could still get it. Now we pushed it up so high that it wasn't affordable for him to be in Southern California anymore. So I just have a different experience with real estate. You know, I'm all about the corporate expansions affecting the small businesses.
Hmm.
Gentrification expecting affecting the small black businesses. So that's what made me get into it. So I realized a long time ago, I'm like, I can't buy it just because I'm trying to flip and make a couple dollars. I got to buy it because my employees need somewhere to live. I can't have my employees coming from 2 hours away trying to come work to work. You know what I mean? So we have to kind of, as business owners are supposed to control the neighborhoods around your business to make sure that your employees will always have a place to stay. They can always get to work on time because they live close by. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a relationship with the schools. You got to have a relationship with your politicians. So That's how I got into real estate, by just trying to make sure that I'm able to run my business effectively.
Wow, that's a very unique take. Schools, politicians, and the like local neighborhoods. So your reason for getting into real estate is because you're operating businesses and it just became necessary for you to be involved in the real estate that surrounded your business, like where your employees live at, what schools are there, the politicians who can change the laws or
Right.
ordinances. Um, okay. So what was your first real estate purchase?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I bought a maybe a townhouse back in the days.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, I bought a townhouse first, and then I realized that I don't like associations. Yeah, those are some gangsters. I learned early on to not buy houses or buy things that has association fees on them. So now that this is becoming the standard around the nation, I'm the biggest advocate for saying no. We got to stop people from creating associations because this is the best way to gentrify people.
And why is that? Because I'm curious to know why, and I'm sure people in my audience, a lot of them are either new to real estate or just getting into real estate. They may not know what an association is or what to be aware of.
Homeowners associations came to be when black people can afford to buy in $1 million neighborhoods. And they created these associations to be able to lock people out or take their houses from them. So just like I had my townhouse taken from me because I didn't know the dangers of an association. We as a people are so quick to just, oh, they're gonna give me the keys. What do I sign? Okay, cool. Just give me my keys. Let me sign my name away. And I sign right away without reading the CC and R's about what powers does the associations have. So I'll give you my situation. What happened to me? They had reached out to all of us tenants and told us this was just one of the properties I had. It was in a faraway city, so I needed to move out there, expand my place. And I don't really like talking about my certain real estate purchases, so that's why I'm gonna tell you about this one. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Certain things I don't talk about, but I'm not the guy that's gonna be on here bragging. Oh man, I got no, that ain't me. But
Mhm.
when I bought that one particular property, the association said, okay, it was the kind that had a carport in the back. Had a two-story townhouse in the front, and then the carports were in the back. So they
Right.
said they got at three estimates. They're going to put garage. They want to put garage doors up so people cars will be protected in the garages. Make the carports into a garage. I was like, hey, I was all for that. Like, okay. So they said everybody gonna have to pay $500. I'm with that, no problem. That's cool. Let's go. All of a sudden, they decided that at the last minute, once they got an okay from everybody, that they
Mhm.
switched it up on us. They all of a sudden they had three estimates to do garage doors, and this guy said he was gonna do it, and we can get them for $500 a piece. All of a sudden, when we all agreed to it, they switched up on us and said, "Oh, well, we can't do the garage doors anymore. We're just going to use that money to put fences in between the units and the carports." Now I'm like, no, oh yeah, and it's the same price. I'm like, I don't need a little bitty fence to protect my car. That's not going to protect my car. I need a garage door. So I said, no, I don't want no fence. I want the garage door. Where are the other three estimates at? What happened? They just, well, everybody else agrees with it. So as I'm mailing my $120 association fee in, they turn around and started mailing it back. And I'm thinking, oh well, I just keep the checks right here. So I'm waiting on them to sue me. Like, yeah, sue me then. I don't care. So they sending my checks back, which I didn't realize that was going to greatly bite me later. So all of a sudden I look up, they got a lien against my place. I'm like, whoa, how they get a lien on my townhouse? And
Mhm.
before I'm still waiting to go to court. We ain't never went to court. Next thing you know, I don't own my townhouse anymore. I didn't acquired a lot of other properties by then, and I just moved in, start buying a lot of properties. So I looked up, and my tenant was like, I had a tenant over there, and then all of a sudden my people was looking into my real estate, and it was like, okay, you got this and that, and I said, yeah, I got a townhouse too. They said, you don't own a townhouse. I said, I do got a townhouse. They said, TJ, you don't own a townhouse. I'm like, dude, I got a townhouse at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Sure enough, we pulled title. That townhouse was not in my name. It was in association's name. They took it. They just hadn't put my people out yet. You see what I'm saying? So now I put my attorney on it, and the attorneys look into it, and they're like, "Oh no!" You immediately they say, "Oh no, TJ, you don't play with them associations." I'm like, "Wait a minute, how come nobody told me that before I bought the townhouse?" I said, They said that you wasn't paying your rent, your monthly rent. I said they sent it back. They said, TJ, we got to go to court on that, and that's going to be a problem. You're going to have to sue them, and that's going to be a problem because they basically say it, and you signed off saying that they can take your townhouse from you. You gave them permission to take it. Should you make any mistakes? I'm like, wow. So it was like an uphill battle, but now I see that it was explained to me they use that associations to take properties from people, to lock people out of certain neighborhoods, to they always have a way of taking something from people. So now that I've been doing the research all over America, I see these associations popping up in neighborhoods that shouldn't even have an association. You see what I'm saying? Literally in neighborhoods that should there's no common fences, there's no fence outside, there's no park, no swimming pool, no nothing like that. So it's like there's no fence outside the unit, no grass that needs to be cut. So why is there association on this neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? And there's just a lot of that stuff going on. So I realized they're doing that because now they can make statements and say, oh, if you didn't get a COVID, a COVID shot, we gotta take your property from you because this you're endangering the area, the neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? So now this is years later. This happened to me back in like early '90s. You see what I'm saying? So now you look at this all it's all in the news now about associations taking people's houses. It's all in the news. But now when you look all over the country, there are so many everything is an association. Every brand new structure is an association fee attached. And I'm telling people you got to stop. I know people are desperate to buy a house, and it's like it's not all about that. Hey, I got 300,000, I can afford to pay cash for a house. It's about people feel like, oh, it's a blessing. I'm just thankful that they allow me to get that place. So now because they feel like it's a blessing, they could take advantage of people. And say they like, man, I don't care about no association. It's only $80 a year. It's only $50 a month. You know what I mean? But yet, the contract is the contract. They can still take it from a person. All they
Wow,
got to do, all they got to do is come up with some reason, and COVID was a good reason. People who didn't have those shots was affected by those. See what I'm saying? They talking about stay 6 feet, but man, it's in your CCNRs. If you endangering the community, you a problem. And by not having a shop was endangering the community, or doing something different from everybody else is endangering the community. So that thing is set up as it's kind of like it's kind of like cancer. It's coming in under the radar. Most people don't suspect it to be dangerous, but it is.
wow, that's an amazing take. I'm glad you shared that with me because I own a property, but I've never bought in an association. So I've heard
Right.
about these types of things. Um, but you're actually the first person who's actually gave me an example, something substantial to actually like, okay,
You
see,
know, and see that's I'm glad you said that because it's you can always tell who's a real estate investor pertaining to the conversations they choose to talk about. If I've sat on panel discussions with real estate guru or alleged real estate gurus, and then I sit down and listen to what they want to talk about. They're like, anything else you want to tell the people? And I'm like, he can't be no real estate guru because I got property and I'm dealing with these problems here. And this problem is affecting people all over the country. So why would he not bring that up? You feel me? We need to talk about that to protect people who don't know. You see what I'm saying? So I listen to people, and I'll be like back in the days, I remember doing a panel discussion in Atlanta. Matter of fact, I'm in California, by the way, and I'm living in Atlanta at the time, and they put me on. No, I'm in California, but I visited to do a panel discussion and do some speaking in Atlanta, and they
Hmm.
put me on. They put me on the panel with this so-called real estate guru, and all over the country, we trying to get houses rehab so we can fix them up, but we having a problem. Everybody I know is having a problem with labor. It's harder to restore these houses because there's not enough labor out here. So my message to the audience was, we need to learn the trades because I'm forking out thousands of dollars, just like this property here. We got when I put this when this grass went in with these blocks and stuff like that on the ground to hook this backyard up, we're talking about 200 something thousand. You know what I'm saying? Just to come out here and put some fake grass and lay some concrete blocks and put up a little fence with some wrought iron. You know what I'm saying? But
Wow, it's a ticket. Yeah.
because I said because it's on side of a hill, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's a whole nother dynamic. And because it's in a $1 million neighborhood where the houses are between $4 and $10 million, you can't get nobody up here for no affordable price. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I'm like, man, if we have some new people, we can make a lot of money right now. Because I would love to call some black people, say, hey, come up here and do this backyard for me, and they would have been doing backflips at 100 grand. You know what I mean? I would have been like, go for it. Y'all gonna charge me 100? Let's do it. But
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's
So yeah, you're right. The people who are really in the business, the conversation is completely different.
yeah.
Because I have some some challenges, but I'm gonna get into that a little bit later on. Um, so my next question is really how can I help you? And maybe you might need to know a little bit more about me, but that's how can we help you? How can I help you? My audience can help you.
Well, let me train people, let me coach people, uh, hook me up to get speaking engagements at the schools, at the colleges, in front of their events and stuff like that. Because you got a lot of people who follow people who give events or whatever, or we got a lot of people who do events. Hook it up so I can be one of the panelists, or I can be the expert gentrification expert that can come in. That's really how I need help. Go online. I'm looking for a certain amount of people each year that I can train and teach real estate from my perspective so that they can go out and help the rest of the country. You know what I mean? Because we in the biggest real estate market in US history, and we got so much disinformation being spread in our communities, and that's why people are at an all-time high of homelessness. That's why people are at an all-time high of unemployment. It's like because they don't have people that's teaching them the real information. Every time I cut on social media, everybody talking about credit. Everybody's talking about your LLC, and I'm like, it's like, dude, I need people to learn how to build houses so we can buy this land. So I need people that I could teach the game because every neighborhood is different, every city is different, every state is different. So if I can find the right people, the community leaders or the people who want to be community leaders, I want to be able to train them up so that they can go stand in front of that room. And then when they talk about supporting this candidate that's running for president, I want to give you some questions. I tell all my people, I tell you, ask your politician this question right here. Ask the person who running for office this question or that question, and I guarantee you they're not going to want to answer that because that's something that really affects us. So I teach people all those things that really matters. You know what I'm saying? Most of the stuff we talk about don't matter, but these things that we're not talking about greatly matter. So those are the things that I coach people and teach them how to identify a real from a fake. You know what I'm saying? How to move the community forward. You got a genie that came in the bottle and gave you 3 wishes. Man, you better ask for the right 3 things. You see what I'm saying? Or you got one wish, you better ask for the one thing. So what's that one thing that you gonna ask for? Is it gonna be, well, I want to get Kamala to be back president? Really? That's all you want? It's like, how's that gonna help you? How's that gonna help us? Well, that's what everybody else telling me to want. So What is that one thing? If they ask me that, I'm gonna be like, man, give them an answer that's everybody's gonna benefit from. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I need. I need people to come let me coach them so I could teach them how this battleground real estate works, how to recognize and identify how the social and economic effects of these corporations expanding into our communities. You see what I'm saying? I need us to be able to benefit from it. I need them to be able to know what kind of real estate protections that need to be put in place. So I need to plant a lot of those people throughout the country so that they can stop all this gentrification, so that they can, make sure that we are included as a people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. Where I actually read this book. I'm in my office right now. I have like 700 books in here. Um,
Nice.
Let me see. I know I have this one. It's called Selling the Black People. And it was written probably like in the 80s. Oh, here it is. Right, it's this book right here. Uh, oh wait, Black Folks Guide to Making Big Money in America. No, it's the same author. But where is it? Man, I got too many. I got too many books. I can't find it. Anyways, same author, George Trower Subria. His book is called Selling to Black People, and either in this one or in another one, he just talks about the statistics of living in America, being black, and he breaks down how we as a people was 40 million black people in America, and we are only 14% of the population, right? It's 330 million Americans. We're 14% of the population. However, America makes like the GDP is like 43 trillion or something like that. The GDP of the black community, however, is only like 910 billion. This number, everyone's, oh, that's a big number. And he's like, but when you put it in perspective, that number should be at least like 3 or 4 trillion, right? Because we're 14% of the population. We should be bringing in 14% of the GDP. Well, at that number, we're only bringing in 3% of the GDP. And then he talks about how when slaves got out of slavery, they own like 14% of the real estate in America. Now today it's decreasing. It's not as we as black people, we don't own as much real estate as we used to own. Even back at like the end of slavery or the turn of like, civil rights, we own less and less real estate. And how people they're not aware. Like they're not like they don't even notice how much more we should be acquiring real estate, buying real estate, you know, building more. And, if you don't know what to do with farmland, figure out how to turn it into a subdivision or make it into, I don't know, a grocery store or something that supports the people. And so it is very in line with what you just mentioned. Yeah, yeah. So I guess this is a really good segue in because I know the way that I can help you is by I do an event. I just did an event um on October 2nd here in Atlanta. And I was just speaking on mind state and multifamily. I've done another event before with Dr. George Frazier. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he hosts Power Networking Conference. So he's
Okay.
and then this last event was more so just on mindset and multifamily. And I just talk about getting your mind right, getting the right attitude to even invest into real estate or even to just go into thinking that you can do real estate. Because a lot of people want to, but they just don't believe in themselves that they could buy a property or get into it or even just they just don't know. So because they don't know or they don't believe, they just won't even try to learn. And so I do that. That's the first portion. And the second portion was I talk about multifamily, buying apartment complexes, things of that nature. So when I plan more of my events, I'll definitely invite you to come speak either on, what you just mentioned as being a gentrification expert, or what other, relevant topics you want to speak on in the real estate space. Um, so I definitely, that's something I can help you do. I'm also looking for, schools to speak with as well, but I don't currently have any like colleges or schools or events. I'm putting together that um that schedule in conjunction with me doing these interviews. So I don't have that schedule completed as far as like, different conferences and whatnot, other than just the ones I'm hosting. Um, but me myself, hey man, I'm a student, man. I'm a student of life, so I'm always open to learning. Um, so that brings me to my next question. Well, I guess I should just tell you about my background first before I ask that. So me, I got into real estate 8 years ago. Got my real estate license, and I started selling houses. I was just doing cold calls and door knockings. Um, Once I got a few deals, 4, 5, 6 deals, then I started investing into real estate. Then that's when I bought a quadruplex. I bought my first quadruplex and I bought a second quadruplex within like 2 months of each other. They both needed full renovations. So I did the renovations on both of them, hired the contractors. I hired some property managers. Then I became the property manager for a time, and was managing both of them. And so that was like when I had about 8 units. The one quadruplex I sold like 3, 4 years ago. And then the other quadruplex, I just sold that last year. And so after that sale, that was when I said, hey, I want to move into doing bigger apartment complexes and buying apartment complexes and getting just bigger units. And so now I'm looking into doing that. However, me just knowing more about the real estate industry space and whatnot, there's always something to be learned, and it's a team sport. So that's why I said, hey, I need to start interviewing other people who got experiences that I don't have, or connections I don't have. See how I can help them, how we can help each other and collaborate, so we can all own more real estate, expand the pie. Um, so that's where I'm at. And so my next question is, how can you help me?
Sign you up for some coaching, good brother. Become my mentee and let me teach you this real estate game. You know what I'm saying? Life is more than the fourplex or a tenplex. You know what I mean? There's so much more other things going on in the world. So, I don't know what your budget is, but I can definitely work with you if you. This is what you like to do, man. I can show you some stuff because I'm a part of the real estate battleground. You know what I'm saying? We out here doing big deals, doing big things, and it's like we need more people who can recognize a good deal when they see it. Who can look at it and say, "Hey, TJ, this is what's going on. Send your people, or I want to be a part of it." So I would like to train you, good brother. That's how you can help. I can help you to help us, if that makes sense, or you can help me to help us. We can help each other to help us, and it starts like that. I'm just looking for people who want to learn versus me trying to force somebody to learn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. You definitely want people who,
Who's coachable.
yeah, you coachable. You don't have to sell them on needing a coach. They know they need a coach, and they know you're the
Uh,
coach for them.
right.
Yeah,
That's
okay. Um, yeah, I made a note of that. Okay, because I read that in the book too, and I do want to shout out your book, uh, monetizing gentrification. So you guys out there, in the audience, make sure to go get your copy. Building Black Ownership. Um, is there a specific place you want them to purchase this?
go to my website at I have the you go to my website at gentrification.com. That's where
Okay.
they can get that book at gentrification.com. They can get my book there. They can get my coaching packages there. They can set up an appointment to do a consultation. They can call me and inquire about becoming an advisor to whatever project they're working on. Gentrification.com, which
Yeah,
shows which shows hopefully people recognize that I was that far ahead of the curve that I recognized that let me write a book about it, let me get that domain name. I was
Yeah.
there. I was talking about that when people said, "What is that? How do you spell that?" You feel me? What is? Tell me again. What does gentrification mean? You know what I'm saying? That's how far ahead of the curve I was because I seen it coming. You know what I'm saying? So I want to teach other people to recognize it and see it coming before
Yeah,
it gets there. We shouldn't have to wait till it actually happened and people is all caught up.
yeah. That I was actually gonna mention that too, to even have that be your that be your website. That really, yeah, that's some foresight right there, because
And
you
then
have gentrification.com. Like
not
that's
dot
like a whole,
not not .org, not .net, but .com. You
yeah,
know?
that's the whole like national conversation
Yeah.
topic. Like, literally, like that's way ahead of the trend, the curve.
Yeah, I'm that's why they say I'm the foremost expert on gentrification because I seen it coming and I knew what to do to stop it. I knew what to do to put people in position. That's why I was the first African American to get a book out on that topic, you know. Like I seen other people put out movies and they talking about it's over. We gentrified. And I'm like, he's basically just telling people to go and pack their bags and just move, just give
Yeah.
up. And I'm like, in the richest real estate market in history, you know. So anyway, that's something, brother, that I don't know again. Yeah, let your people know, man. I appreciate your followers and everybody. Appreciate what you're doing. But let me know, good brother. I got a lot of game, man. I got a lot to talk about. A lot of
Absolutely.
amazing things.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off camera.
All right. Sound like a plan.
So now, do you
Appreciate
have any? I mean, I just shouted out your book, right? And you, okay, cool. So I just shouted out your book, your website, gentrification.com. Um, yeah, I just wanted to speak on the book just real quick because when I read it, I read in here you had Dr. Sabi was encouraging you to share your knowledge, and there's a picture of you in there with them. So shout out Dr. Sabi. But just seeing just the different, the really like I really appreciate the style, right, of how you wrote the book. As far as like the picture, you just have a lot of pictures that are very just make it easy to understand the concepts, and then you just wrote it very like conversational. Um,
Yeah, I wanted people to get it, man. I wanted people to get it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to. I remember when I first started writing it, I started using all my Toastmaster big giant words, and all of a sudden the people gave it, TJ, you can't use this. I'm like, what? They like, yeah, man. I know college students can read that, and some of them can understand it, but man, 70% of the country read on the seventh grade level or something like that. And I was like, wow. So, I wrote the book like that because a lot of people, like when I first started traveling, I would be like looking at these amazing investments, and I would call home and tell my coaches, the billionaire cast that I run with, I'm like, hey man, you ain't never gonna believe this, and blah blah blah. They out here building a brand new Mercedes-Benz dome out here in Georgia. They out here in Tennessee building this. They out here in Florida building a brand new stadium, three of them on the same neighborhood. They like send me a picture, send me a picture, send me a picture of it, send me some, you know, and I'm sending all these pictures, and my people say, you need to make a book with all them pictures. I'm like, no shit. Because my people, these guys, they just need to see the proof. Show me. They know I know what I'm looking at, but show me what you're talking about. So I'm like, they amazed to see that that was actually happening out there in these places. $2 billion on a stadium. They tore down the projects and they built a stadium. Like what? Stuff like that. And just to show them pictures, I'm like, dude, the whole city's being developed, and I'm out here in Philly, and that's the front cover of my book is Philadelphia. And I'm
mhm.
like, dude, the whole city is being rebuilt. It's like they tore down the projects and they building a whole brand new city out here. And they like, man, send me a picture. I sent them the picture. They like, wow, where's the closest airport? I'm on my way. you know,
Hey,
like just like
actually,
that, just because of a picture. You know, it ain't no, oh, he was exaggerating. Or he put a little too much on it, and it wasn't like what he said. Dude, I sent them pictures. They was like, wow. But yeah, that's why I wrote that book, man. Plus, I wanted it to be for these schools. I had a lot of the homeschoolers or homeschool teachers. I wanted to work with them, and then they were like, man, they was implementing the things that I was saying immediately because I knew. I came to them and I said, y'all having problems, aren't y'all, with real estate? Do you own this building? No. I said, y'all having a lot of problems. How many times you moved this school in the last 5 years? They're like, they just take a deep breath. I'm like, how did you know? I know real estate, so I know y'all having problems because of like y'all renters. And they like, wow, can you write some books for the school? I'm like, no, but you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, eventually I came around and I wrote one and it became a bestseller. Then I came back with the second one. But my whole point is, I wanted it to be for everybody. So we got that book in schools. We got billionaires that got that on their coffee table. You know what I'm saying? Because they know we got billionaire land developers that got that book on their coffee table because I coached them. I'm the coach to put it like this: the billionaire real estate developer is only as good as his advisors. Does that make sense? The real the $1 billion real estate developer is only as good as his advisors because he don't have time to go out and find the deal. So they pay people like me to go out and see what's going on around the country so that they can know around the world so that they can say, okay, well, TJ brought back all these numbers, so we're gonna go set up a situation out there in Georgia. We're gonna go set up a situation in Jamaica, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, you know what, if I can coach these guys and they taking my word and running with it and creating billions and billions of dollars off of it, it's also a little cheap investments that these guys can do that everybody else can do. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, you ain't gotta be no billionaire to go buy a piece of land, you know? So I teach. So anyway, I wrote the book so people can get it, and I want it to be simple as possible.
Nice. Yeah, and I got it too. And you
I
inspired
appreciate
me
it.
to absolutely. You inspired me to write a book. Get
There
a
you
book
go.
out there and with pictures and just very similar to this style of writing a book because most books they don't have no pictures and it just they also don't have questions in there either. And what's
Right.
really cool is that your number is in the back of the book, so people can actually just call you. Whereas most books don't have like that you can't reach out to the author, which
That book.
honestly is a weak business model, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. But see, it's a strong business model for the people who put those books in place, meaning they don't want you to have access to more information. They put out a book with disinformation and they don't give you any information on how to get in contact with them. There ain't no websites or nothing like that. They say, oh, go to Amazon. Well, dang, that's totally removing you from your audience. It's like, I want my audience to be able to call me and say, man, I read your book. I want you to come and speak at this conference because I love what you said. That's true. But when they don't have no access to anything, that's the part of the plan. They don't want us to have access to anything. You see what I'm saying? They don't want us. That's why when you go in our schools, we studying about people who've been dead 100 years. Talking about Martin Luther King and these people and those people. I'm like, we got living legends, living people who made shit really happen right now. But if the problem with that is if they find out about a TJ Loftin and he got his number in the back book, we're gonna be like, shit, let's do more than just buy a bunch of books for the school. Let's book him to come speak, see if he's available that he can come out here and speak, see if he's available that he can come out here and do a panel, see if he's available that he can come out here and advise us. Because if he could do that in California, maybe he can do that in Philly. You feel me? And that's what happens with me. I get people who call me and say, man, we going through that out here. And I saw how you knew what was going on. What you talked about on page such and such is exactly what's going on out here in North Carolina. That you talk about disaster economics, they flooded out the whole city out here. And man, how you knew they were doing that? You the only one to talk about that. Can you come out and advise us because we having a town hall meeting on Friday? We're gonna fly you out here. But what if my number wasn't in the book? You see what I'm saying? You know who would get that job? The local real estate agent. You know what I'm saying? Or they would know nobody that know anything about that. They wouldn't
Yeah,
even realize this is a real estate play. They wouldn't even realize if there's that flooding going on in North Carolina. They wouldn't even realize that was all about the real estate. They would have been like, "Oh my God, it was just a disaster, and man, it's a freak, the storm, and Mother Nature." No, no, no. That's them folks, them developers. That's them people want that land out there because y'all got all that them natural resources under that ground. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I wrote that chapter. I'm like, look, y'all, we got a lot going on in America. All these gigafactories and corporations are moving in. So these government officials, they gonna come up with all kind of ways to take this land because they're not gonna sit here and try to pay everybody off. See what I'm saying? They came to California and they tried to take the land around Tesla, and we wasn't having it, so we stopped it. So you know what? They can't do to us what they did in North Carolina. In North Carolina, they didn't care about them people. They like, y'all ain't got no power, no money, so we just gonna flood y'all ass out. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that in California though. In certain parts of where I live at, in certain parts, because there's too many rich people. People got too much money and too much power, and they know that. You know, people like me running around here like, yeah, you gonna flood out the city, but we still own our land. See what I'm saying? We just gonna come back and rebuild. They ain't allowing people in North Carolina to do that. They're like, okay, your house didn't get messed up by the flood, but we still gonna blight out the whole city. You know. So anyway, that's people need to understand that you got access to a person that really knows what's going on. That's why I put my phone number in there because I can back up everything in that book I talked about, and I can tell you about stuff that ain't in the book.
Wow. Hey, that's
So
powerful. Yeah, that's
yeah,
like you said, that you got money and you got power and you like you sure said, you got knowledge.
yeah.
Um, so what are your goals that you have currently?
I'm personally working on some documentaries and some movies. I got my background is by trade. I'm a car builder. I'm a celebrity car builder.
Yeah.
I build lowriders and all that stuff. So now I manufacture car parts. So that is my industry, and I'm trying to get that industry into the schools, into our community, so people could know that okay, well maybe we ain't going to college. We do need to learn how to weld. We do need, you know what I'm saying, because we can get in TJ's industry, the lowrider, custom car, classic cars, whatever motorcycle industry, and become a
Mhm.
millionaire building cars, manufacturing car parts. So I'm working on a movie to promote that and just expose all these amazing people that I deal with every day. You know, I deal with a bunch of rich ass people that's alpha males that ain't worried about who's gonna be president. These cats is paid regardless. You feel me? They don't care because we in business, and businesses everybody's gonna benefit business. They're gonna protect business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
So
much, that bottom dollar.
So these documentary, I'm working on a documentary with Dr. Sabi. Me and my time spent with Dr. Sabi. You know, I got a lot of documentaries, man. A lot of movies I'm working on, a lot of TV show stuff. So I've been trying to hone down. That's why I'm sitting up here at the pad. You know, got to keep my focus open and just keep on writing, editing, and that's what I've been working on doing a lot of editing, pulling out all my old pictures and videos and putting it all together so I can drop this documentary. I'm trying to have at least two out by the end of the year. Have two documentaries and another book about automotive. And then from now on out, you're gonna hear a lot of me speaking, a lot of documentaries coming out. That's what I'm gonna be doing every year now. I'm just gonna keep dropping documentaries. Like you familiar with Tariq Nasheed?
Yeah, I tell me about him. I've heard his name before, but I can't
Yeah,
really.
he created that Hidden Figures series of documentaries. He got like a
Oh,
bunch of
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's
So
how I first know. Not. I think I was probably no. Well, George Fraser was in Hidden Colors,
okay, yeah, in Hidden Figures, right,
Hidden Figures. Uh,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
him and
So
oh man, Dr. Umar Johnson. They were both in
right,
Hidden Figures.
right,
Yeah.
right. So I'm working on. So what he did with that, I'm gonna do the same thing with automotive. See what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about all the legendary black car builders. We owned all of this, and we owned all of those before this, and the Koreans came in and bought it in this year, and next thing you know, now black people been going to college ever since. You know, but yet we all come from successful car builders who paid cash for their kids to go to college so that they could be better than them. Now they went to college and they can't pay cash for their kids to go to college. So it's like they moved us away from business, but that's where we come from. So I'm just going through it and I'm talking about it and I'm putting dollar amounts to it. I'm bringing up stuff to make you say, I remember that. That's true, but I never knew it was like that. So it's like a lot of my guys when they talking, it's like when I start asking about pricing, you can kind of see them cringe a little bit, like they really don't want to answer the question because now they got to show their hand, like okay, well yeah, I did sell. I sold 4 cars last month. I got 350 for that one, 275 for this one, 300 for that one, and a matter of fact, I just turned down 500 for that car. So if I tell you that, what you think about me now? You know what I'm saying? Or what you think about that guy? So basically, those documentaries is going to show that this is the richest community that we got, by in a whole, where it's a bunch of us. It ain't just a couple people doing it. It's like I can name about $5 billion land developers, black billionaires land developers. You know that most people don't even know exist. You know what I'm saying? But I can name $100 million car builders. See what I'm saying? I can name about $10 billion car builders. You know what I'm saying? But people need to know this is the most lucrative, successful industry that we have that you ain't never thought about. You ain't never heard of. You know what I'm saying? They make everything, they put everybody against it, say it's a bad thing. Don't deal with them car guys. They just drug dealers and gang members and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, that's something only Hispanics do. No, that was always our industry. That we had that first. That's why a lot of black people were very successful. You know, and going back to what you said earlier, I wanted to talk about that. You know, you talked about black people don't own as much land as we used to and all that stuff, and we used to own this. Okay, so I correct you. I want to correct you and let you know. I don't want to say correct you, but I would like you to think about it from a different perspective and research that perspective. I'm not really trying to debate it, but I'm just saying research it.
Mm-hmm.
America was a black country.
Mm-hmm.
We've always been here. You see what I'm saying? They came here, saw us, studied us, went to school with us, turned around and made it with us, made babies, and then we called them the Indians. Then they came back and killed all the black people who was here that was in power and stole all their land. So a lot of people did not get killed. So we owned all the land in America. This was all black land. There wasn't no such thing as a damn Indian. You see what I'm saying? They created that shit instead of saying that we were melanated people. So we owned the whole country, period. And now our numbers are down. You see what I'm saying? But then we got all these videos. It's a whole nother world of lawsuits that people don't know nothing about, of people who are suing saying that's my land that $2 billion football stadium is sitting on. That's my land that city hall is sitting on. That's my land that big ass mall is sitting on. It's a lot of people suing for that. In fact, when you look at that reparations stuff that they tried to pass, they put a law in there saying that they wanted to make it easier to sue those people who had their land stolen by eminent domain. And that was the scariest shit they seen. They were like, oh no. Because right now, those lawsuits last 10 years, 15 years. You feel me? Because there ain't no protections in place to protect people who had something stolen from them. So that's things that really matter. That was one of the most important parts of reparations. If we could just get our land back, we'd be cool. That's the reparations right there. Just like Bruce's Beach. I don't know if you follow that. Did you
Mm-hmm.
see it? Okay, if you Google Bruce's Beach out here in California, it shows that in Manhattan Beach, California, they sued some people. A family sued and said that was our land. That's our land. They came back and put a plaque on it and said, oh, "Okay, yeah, well, we're gonna keep it, but we're gonna put a park on there just for y'all with your family name on there, Bruce, the Bruce family." But they like, no, but we want our fucking land back, you know.
Yeah.
But my point is, they did a showboat situation where they told the people they were gonna give them the land back, and then the people said, "Well, we can't afford to pay the taxes, so we're just gonna sell it to you." But yet, then they gave them $3 million, something like that, right? But yet they put a fire department on top of it, and I'm like, the building that sits on top of it worth about 20 million. You know what I'm saying? So how is the land gonna be worth three? If you gave them their land back, they're gonna have a $20 million piece of property because of the structure on there is worth 20 million because it's 10,000 square feet. The building itself was 10,000 square feet, so the lot was even bigger than that. So how is this property going to be worth $3 million when the house next door to it is 4,000 square feet and it's worth 3 million? See what I'm saying?
You're right.
So,
Right. Right.
so my point is, what they doing is they've set that up with the Bruce's Beach situation. So now they're gonna turn around and now all the rest of those lawsuits are coming. They're gonna try to just pay people undervalue, pay them under the value of the property. You see what I'm saying? But that's why they put that in that bill saying, hey, we want y'all to make it easier to have to respond to us. We want to be able to file a loose lawsuit today, and they got 1 year to wrap that shit up. They were like, oh no, oh no, we're not putting that one in. Anyway, brother. So
Well,
that's
but
that's the kind of stuff I deal with, kind of stuff I talk about. So I would love, I wanted to be able to, I sit down and advise those kind of people, dude, in those kind of situations because I know what questions to ask. I know what to say. Oh, y'all writing a reparations bill? Put this bill in there. Put that in there. Put this in there. You see what I'm saying? If they gotta, I want to, if they gonna have to put some of this stuff through, let me help you. Let me advise you on what to put in there because if they reject everything, they're gonna look real bad. If they reject half of the stuff, they're gonna look real bad. So let me give you 100 things that it's gonna really kill them to do any of it. But if they put any of this stuff through, if we can get 3 of these through, oh, we're gonna be good. You see what I'm saying? Because
right, right, right.
I understand structure. I understand how things work. Like if we can make schools put in the lowrider industry, that's the last thing they want. They rather give us the land and turn around and put the real information in the schools. You see what I'm saying?
With the
They're like,
cars, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people
yeah,
making money,
yeah, because I'm
making
over
money
here,
on
man.
cars, and they do like oh cars. People spend flashy this and flashy that, but they don't tell you you know
Who's
what you
behind
just
the car?
said. Like yeah, who's behind the
Yeah,
car? Yeah, just these
like
prices that you're getting.
the guy that made this pen probably make $1 billion a year off of this little bitty pen. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Hmm.
like the guy that made this wireless mouse probably make $2 billion a year. So it's like, dude, all we need is the right information, and we can come out with our little one product and sit back and be straight for the rest of our lives. But anyway,
Yeah.
good brother, let me know, man, what you think, man. I'm about to get on out of here.
Um. Yeah. Okay. Let me just stop the recording real quick. Okay.